All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Whoops. Should hit a button first. What is up, and welcome to the Pamphlet. I am Nick. Adam, how you doing?
I'm good. Just living the life. How you doing?
Yeah, same thing. Living the life.
Yeah. Is it still pretty hot in Florida? Is it cooling off finally for you?
Hot as fuck.
It's a hurricane season down there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I thought hurricane season was over.
It's just starting.
Yeah, it's getting we got our shutter up. We decided we're gonna shutter up one window. It's really hard to get to. It's on a ladder, so we had them come, and it's like an accordion shutter that we close.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we paid the deposit in May, and they just showed up this week. We kind of thought they might have just ran off with the money.
They must be busy shuttering up.
Yeah, you know.
Well, okay. Now, are you already watching like storms? I know you used to track them whenever all these storms last year. Do you like track them and you check them out in the middle of the Atlantic? And
yeah, I check in. I like to see what I'm in for. And I guess, right now in the National Hurricane Center, they don't have the whatever's brewing like right outside the Bahamas. But there's one like right off the tip of Africa that's starting to head this way. So, but that one's probably a good 10 days out.
Yeah, you need a boat. You can get out there in that hurricane and try your luck.
Yeah, fight it off. I'll be like Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When you're out shrimp fishing.
Yeah, out shrimping.
Yeah, what else going on in Florida?
Well, you got the Dolphins.
You got the Dolphins. How they looking this year?
I don't know. I went to a game. I did do that. And I think the problem with how I went to the game was we ran a little late getting there. So instead of like cutting a beer out or 2 beers out before you went into the game, we just decided to drink them really fast.
Oh, yeah.
And I was tanked. I haven't been that boogered up in a long time.
Felt good, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Not the next day, but that night it felt great. And then, even if I wasn't all boogered up, I wouldn't be able to know what was going on in the game because our seats were like 9 rows from the field, right in front of the cheerleaders.
Dang, were they all male cheerleaders? I guess they kept your attention.
No, not a single male cheerleader on the Miami squad, and they are gorgeous.
Females didn't have dongers, didn't have peckers on them.
I mean, I couldn't guarantee that. It didn't look like it from where I was sitting. These days, though, you never know.
Yeah, well, that's cool. What about the campaign stuff? Anything going on with the campaigns in Florida? Florida's pretty wacky, typically.
Typically, yeah, especially South Florida. It's pretty stupid down here.
Yeah.
And we got our first, potentially our first black governor on the way. He was endorsed by Bernie Sanders, so I will not be voting for him. I don't really know much about him except he's like a hardcore socialist. And as far as the Republican guy, he already got in trouble. DeSantis, he already got in trouble for making what they're calling a racial comment. I mean, granted, it was a dumb phrase to use, but if you're not a racist, you're not going to think it's a dumb phrase to use. He said, "Don't monkey up this election."
Okay.
Now, you know, you're not racist, so you probably don't think why that would be an issue.
Yeah.
But of course, the left goes, monkey it up. What do you mean? Because he's black?
Oh.
Apparently, you're not allowed to say the word monkey around any black person ever. That's just the no-go zone.
But that like breeds the racism. Like the only people comparing black people to monkeys at that point are the media, the liberal
exactly.
media. Oh,
Yeah.
I saw.
What do you mean by these people?
Well, I think I saw that guy. There was some video I saw on Instagram. The black guy, and like he was just I don't know where he was at. Seems a little fruity too, just from what I saw. That one clip. Did you think so?
He is a Bernie Sanders socialist.
He's a soy boy.
He's a soy boy for sure.
Yeah, but he had gotten like a $250,000 donation from George Soros. So that was like so the guy kind of called him out on that. He's like, well, I've been friends with George Soros for 15 years. So he's one of those guys. So
yeah, you got to love the Soros puppets. They're always good for pretty much nothing. All right, let's hit. Busy week this week.
Pretty busy.
So what do you got? Anything good? Anything
good
to kick?
I think one thing that we should kick it off because I'm pretty sure it was you, but United Passenger was paid like $75, like it's hush money, quote unquote, because probably you. I'm guessing we're on this flight, and well, they didn't name the guy, but the guy who was on the flight with her was whacking it, or I don't know how you explain this, touching himself inappropriately for like quote unquote hours.
He was jerking it.
I mean, that guy was working hard on it for hours. He's gonna be rubbed off.
He's gonna explain. He must have took a Viagra before he got on the plane. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought thanks to Bin Laden, masturbating on an airplane was illegal.
Yeah, according to The Hangover.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bin Laden.
Thanks, Bin Laden.
Used to just be frowned upon.
Yeah. Well, $75 seems like fair compensation, right? I mean, to sit there next to a guy that's jerking off right beside you on an airplane.
Yeah, the guy should be paying it though. Like, isn't that how it normally works in like jerk off booths and stuff? But like, they'll pay for a dry cleaning, which will be needed, obviously.
Right. I mean, that doesn't really get you that many drinks on the airplane.
No, that's true. You'd have to be pretty drunk to put up with that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, United maybe kick in the next flight for free.
Yeah, but in reality, I don't necessarily think they have to really give her anything. What they should have did was arrest the guy for jerking his dick in public.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not their fault. It's just like if you're on the subway and some guy's jerking off, or on a public bus, the port authority isn't going to give you money. They're just going to say, all right, that guy's going to jail. Sorry about the spooge all over you.
Here's a towel. Now clean yourself up, you dirty whore.
Yeah. Now, did she take the $75?
She did, and she hung her head in shame, like every other hooker.
Yeah, but then she goes,
I don't know if she took the money or not. I mean, I'm not going to pass up on $75, especially if you're not the one that has to actually give the hand job. I mean, dude, that's
for doing nothing, basically.
Yeah, doing nothing.
Well,
just sitting there being offended. How many people get offended nowadays?
I know. Well, I guess my theory on it is if it was hush money, the way they described it in that article, then they would have her sign something that was like a Trump non-disclosure, right? Saying, hey, we're gonna give you some money just so this isn't a big deal. We don't want a PR nightmare, and that's why we're doing it. We were looking out for our however they want to spin it. I don't know, but if they didn't sign non-disclosure and she's going to the media, it's not really hush money. They just gave her $75.
And said, "Don't say anything."
Wonder how much her flight was. Maybe it was like one of those real cheap short flights, and maybe it was only $75, and they just refunded her money.
Here's the thing: if you really wanted to shut her up, I mean, like legitimately, if you
Have
don't
that
want,
guy just stuff that thing in her mouth. Oh, that's not what you were saying?
just look at the damn thing, suck it.
That would shut her up for a while, apparently, hours at least.
He's got dick for days. Yeah, but I was gonna say give her more money.
Oh,
Like
yeah. You can do that.
$25 doesn't buy my silence.
No, I mean, that's a joke. I feel like, yeah, I feel like that's not hush money. That's not an effort. If that's hush money, that's not very good. That's poor
Right.
play on their part. And then have her sign something saying she's not going to trash the airlines in the news. That's how things work. Non-disclosures, they're illegal, though, if you're doing it within a campaign. But, yeah, so that was interesting that you got caught doing that, Nick. And you didn't go to jail for that.
No. I'm not. It wasn't me. I mean,
yeah. But in other news, Senator John McCain, war hero, he died from the last show. I think it was sometime over the weekend he died, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so he died. He had been suffering from brain cancer. I don't know. I think the public's known about this for about 6 to 9 months, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a news story I saw where he gave up he stopped doing his treatments, and then the next day he died. So apparently he was in bad shape at that point in the first news story. So yeah, he passed away. There's a lot of it's funny because like the Huffington Post, there was all these things like someone pulled all their posts about McCain, calling him a racist and calling him like the most disgusting names, and then because he was like against the the vote to reform healthcare, the Obamacare stuff, and because he wasn't a Trump guy or whatever reason, he's like the liberals' like hero. And they had all these tweets from the Huffington Post trashing him, and then they had throughout time, over the last couple of years. And then they had this tweet that they put out, like how he's such a hero and like he worked for old man, but they were like basically calling him like a rapist, sex offender, and some of them. So I was just like, yeah. But there was some other flack. Trump got some other heat about it. So they lowered the flag to half staff. And they did it the day he died and the following day. And then after that, the flag went back up because, Trump's out there. He's the one doing this. He lowers the flag and raises every day. But so the flag was back at full staff or whatever they call it. And everyone flipped out, saying that Trump's disrespecting McCain. But in reality, there's actually a law that's the time. It's the day they died, and the next day, that's whenever the flags are lowered. But the president could have said, there is a caveat to it. The president can say, hey, leave it at half longer. But I guess he just didn't. He's just following whatever laws are on the book. I'm sure they have a flag department at the White House that knows exactly when they're supposed to lower the flag, I would assume. So I don't think that's he's micromanaging that.
No, but that's definitely something that I don't know looked bad on him because he has had bad blood with him.
Yeah, it did, but
looked pretty petty.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's like, do you think that was even brought up to him at all? Like, do you really think that they came to him and said, okay, well, we did what we're supposed to do here. Should we raise the flag, or do you want to keep it at half? I'm sure that wasn't even a conversation they even had. Right. Trump's probably at the golf course playing golf,
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it's stupid. It's petty on both sides, really. I mean, to be like, oh, it wasn't half staff long enough. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but it's like, how long did they want it for?
Right.
Like, would a week be too much? Would it be not enough? It's like there's nothing you could do to satisfy the media.
No,
they're gonna make a story out of anything. that causes people to be decided, and especially if it's within the Republican Party. If they could split up the Republican Party, like that's great for liberals. I mean, that's what they want. Actually, it's surprising that their party, well, in the media it's not, but their party's pretty split up. I mean, people don't look at, like, there is like an extreme, like, left, that's kind of taken over, and that has to really annoy most people who are pretty moderate Democrats.
Yeah,
they can't, like, most people aren't for socialism.
No, they're not for socialism. They're not for Antifa. They don't want to associate with either side. That's why you got a lot of the Trump Democrats out there.
Yeah,
because they aren't. And the thing is, it seems like that wing of the party is growing at a rapid rate.
Yeah, like people are like kind of moving away. Well, I would think, but you don't hear about it. You really don't. You only hear about like the most absurd ones, and they're like the heroes of the news.
Yeah. Speaking of one of the radical left wingers, Cynthia Nixon. She's having an interesting week. She's running for governor in New York.
Just to give some people some background, she is the ugly redheaded woman from Sex and the City. She's the ugly friend. So go ahead.
Exactly. That's the exact way to describe her. And so she's running in New York, and they want to do a debate, but she said that the room temperature is sexist because Andrew Cuomo likes it a little too cold. So it's sexist. It's not just a situation where it makes her uncomfortable. It's actually sexist.
So women can't heat their bodies as well as men.
Yes.
Making Cuomo far superior, I guess. I'd like to see them debate that point, like during the debate.
Well, Cuomo is not going to want to touch that subject because he found himself in a little bit of a Me Too crisis.
Oh, he did. I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, what did he do? He took a donation and then called off an investigation into, I believe it was Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, old Harvey, getting Me Too'd all over the place.
Yeah, he's bringing down the house with him. Yeah, so that's that actually might set up Cynthia Nixon to be the next governor of New York.
It's weird. What are her qualifications? She pretended to be an actress in New York?
Yeah.
Living in New York?
She was the ugly friend on Sex and the City.
What, was she like involved in like local politics or anything?
No.
She just like, did she run businesses?
No.
Did she do anything other than be an actress?
No.
Weird. But she'll be the governor of New York because, back to my theory, they're all crazy there. So
you reap what you sow, New York. Just they'll be picking up poop off their streets very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. They have a lot of homeless there.
Oh yeah.
So, well, speaking of Me Too'ers, the Catholic Church still dealing with fallout from those reports of child molestation. The Pope is kind of like, he went to Ireland and he was getting, like, they were really negative about him just in general. Like, it's almost like they're some people are actually calling for him to resign as the Pope.
Well, he one of the ambassadors for the Vatican came out this past week and said he knew and basically assisted in the cover-up.
Damn, that's ice cold.
Yeah.
So what are they gonna do?
I don't know. I think he should resign, but I think what's funny is now that people are calling for him to resign because he is the left-wing Pope. All left-wing politics across the world love this guy. Which, I don't care about the guy's politics when it comes to being a religious leader. I wish he would have stayed out of it, but I could deal with him before I thought he was a guy that was covering for, child rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's not looking good for him. But the thing is, especially in this country, or at least in this country, the left is running to his side, saying that this is just a witch hunt for him, basically, to get him out of there. Actually, the Cardinal of Chicago had this to say when he was asked about Pope Francis involved with that.
The Pope has a bigger agenda. He's got to get on with other things of talking about the environment and protecting migrants and carrying on the work of the church. We're not going to go down a rabbit hole on this.
Are you?
No, they're gonna get out of.
Kidding me?
Wow. Yeah. No, they're gonna get out a little boy's butthole.
Yeah, there are plenty of buttholes to be explored, but we're not going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the things that we do. We're going to talk about the things that everyone else is doing. Blah blah blah. You know, it's like don't pay attention to what we're doing.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about. We're going to talk about the environment.
Yeah,
that's the issue right now. The environment. You're burning too much carbon.
Yeah.
Well, they are burning up too many boys' assholes.
Yeah, I mean they should be for petroleum, considering how much of it they're probably using. Petroleum jelly, that is.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it pisses me off that
so bad
that they don't have any focus whatsoever on their church itself, and they want to sit here and tell the United States and the president of the United States what he should be doing and damning him for this and that. Now, these cardinals. Okay, just imagine you're working for a CEO of a major corporation. You're a vice president of your area, your department. So the CEO says, this is what we want. This is our agenda. This is what we're doing. Now that guy is like a vice president. He just spits that out. He's not going to say anything. I mean, that's a huge business too. I mean, that's one of the biggest businesses probably in the world as far as total assets and money they have. But so he's going to spit that out and he's going to try to change the subject. But that's ridiculous.
You know, and here's the thing. I'm really not against religious leaders having thoughts on politics. I think they really should. You should make, when you form a political opinion, you should do it based on, a moral standard.
There you go.
Here's the thing. There is a lot of kid fuckers under your watch right now. You guys got to clean that the fuck up. Until then, you got to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, they almost have to just get rid of everyone.
They really do. And it really disappoints me, especially as a Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to think, like, I know when I worked at Red Oak, there were a couple sex offenders that worked there, and we knew about it. Everybody,
you were one of them.
I wasn't on the list. We knew the list. We saw the mugshot. Everybody knew. Everybody, it was what it was. You knew about it.
On Megan's Law.
You're gonna tell me that there are 100 people in the Pittsburgh diocese alone that had issues with kid touching, and all the other ones didn't know? They didn't know the rumors. Like, a new priest shows up at one of these dioceses that the kid toucher was moved out of, and he doesn't hear stories about it, and he doesn't say shit?
No, they all know. I mean, look, they're not all bad people. I would say, I know some of these priests, they're good guys. And I don't think they're those type of people. They weren't named them, so obviously there's no report alleging. No one's alleging anything. But these guys get together. They have to, because they know what's going on in the past with the church. They have to have an idea of who's doing what.
Right.
So
I mean, they definitely let us down. And I got to say, if Francis needs to go.
I think so.
He doesn't have he does not have the moral authority to be the vicar of Christ anymore.
I agree. Sickening.
Yeah.
But he probably won't step down.
Mm-mm.
He'll just keep trashing the president. But speaking of the president, he did come to a deal with Mexico as part of the NAFTA deal. So that deal's done. Trudeau made a comment stating that he thought the deal with Canada would be done by the end of the week. So, you pretty much have your NAFTA deals done, because there's all this panic in the media. Oh, this is our lumber is going to go up 3,000%, and tariffs or something. But apparently, they're going to get a deal done. I mean, they need us,
Right?
I mean, we don't need those motherfuckers.
We do.
Fuck them.
No, I'm glad a deal got done, and
Yeah,
if we got a better deal, fantastic. I mean, there's no bad way to spin this, but I'm sure the media will find a way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the details of it, but I'm sure it's a better deal than we had previously, because that was the goal of Trump. And that's what his goal is with all these countries. It's we don't like these deals, they're bad deals. Let's make them better if you can make them better at all, you're in a better position.
Right.
So I don't know what this deal is. I saw one person say, yeah, Mexico is going to pay for the wall. So I don't know. That's not going to be part of the deal, but I guess with whatever amount of money we're going to save with the new deal, it's basically going to pay for the wall.
Yeah.
They'll spend it somewhere else probably. But so that's good. I mean, it's good to get these deals done. We just got to get China done. And I think something is going to come to a head on that pretty quickly too. Because there's a lot of stuff that's going to be kicking in, and China's kind of has their back against the wall because they don't really want they don't want a trade war.
Yeah.
I don't think they do. So I think they're going to working out a deal with them too. Trump's getting those deals, just like he said.
Yeah, that trade was his big thing.
It was. So that's good news. I mean, we'll see what the terms of it are, but I'm sure they're a little bit better than they were before. There was one thing that really bothered me. A few weeks back, we did a story about basically, I think it was 5 Muslim adults. They had a camp, and essentially they were training children to be school shooters. And I mean, one of the kids ended up being dead. The other ones were practically starving to death. And they SWAT team went in, arrested them, took the kids away. Well, a judge this week dismissed all charges for 3 of the people, 3 of the adults. I don't know a whole lot about this story. I mean, about that. I mean, but I saw the headline. I was thinking, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. They were planning multiple terrorist attacks. Like you said, there was a dead kid already there. And they were also planning, they were doing school shooting training. And after they get arrested, you get the sign and release bail. And then you get the police going in there. We didn't even cover this, but the police went in there and demoed the compound. It was an active fucking crime scene, and they tore the compound down.
Why?
I don't know. There's something really weird about this shit.
That is weird. What the fuck is going on out there? That's like some Alex Jones conspiracy stuff there. Because that is like, I mean, that's the quickest investigation into really serious crimes I've ever heard of, ever. I mean, if you got arrested for anything, it takes so much time to go through the legal system before they say you're innocent.
Right.
That was like 2 weeks. And they never even spent any time in jail. They let them out on their own recognizance that day, I think.
Yeah.
So weird. I mean, there's like literally child abuse going on at the very least.
Are the kids released back into their custody?
Oh, man, I didn't see that. That would be terrible.
Yeah. At this point, it wouldn't surprise me.
Wow. I mean, what is that judge thinking? Who is this judge?
I don't know. There has to be some kind of impeachment, though. You would think, because that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, the FBI should be involved.
Yeah,
I would think.
How are there not federal charges on this guy at this point, or on these people?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There has to be some sort of federal terroristic charges, at least alleged.
Yeah.
They don't have to have it proven yet. They have to investigate it. But then they blow the whole compound up, though. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, they kind of shit the bed on that one.
Or they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, that's weird. But yeah, speaking of conspiracy theories, Alex Jones, apparently they poisoned the water, turned the frogs gay. But they may have turned Alex Jones gay too? I don't know. So why don't you give everyone a little bit of review of why I'm saying this?
Well, Alex Jones, he likes to sell you things, his male vitality pills, maybe a little iodine.
Yeah.
And he was doing his live reads, and I guess he had a monitor that was broken. So he was using his phone to show the website. And when he went to close the app, which this is amazing to me that people watch this, see this, and can catch shit like this.
Under a microscope.
Yeah. When he went to close the app, you could see on his phone that there was a window open that had porn. And somebody zoomed in on it. And it turned out it was a very popular trans porn star. So he was watching some trans porn. Ooh. Chicks with dicks, best of both worlds.
Him and Charlie Sheen into the same thing.
So yeah, he commented on it the day after, and I'll play. Should I play response A or response B?
The one I heard.
The one you heard? Okay. And here is that one.
I never sucked any ding-dongs. And who cares? Hey, I sucked a golf ball through a freaking garden hose. The son of a bitch walked in there in my own office when I'd splattered stuff on myself and I was changing shirts. He goes, "Oh, that's a good shot. Let's get your shirts." And then I go, "Hey, have some of this chicken and sausage." So technically I said, Jones offered me his sausage. Yeah, give me a break, you son of a bitch. I like women, not men. And if I like men, I'd be proud of it. I'd have a lot of them. But I ain't ever been in bed with no man. I've been in bed with probably 300 women. And you sons of bitches sit there and you play these games, and I'm sick of it. So, that said, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to get killed here by some CIA head team. I'm not going to release stuff that isn't already out. I mean, there's no video of President Trump sucking a ding-dong. And so what if there was? Trump sucking cock. That's a lot better than World War III, Owen. I never sucked any ding-dongs.
Okay. When I first heard that, I listened to it on my phone, not with any earphones in or anything. I just listened to the phone. And it sounded pretty good. It looked pretty good, because it's a clip. But when I listen to it through headphones, it's obvious that they clip, it's like a soundboard where they clip these things together. But it's still really hilarious. That's not really his response.
This
was.
This really was his response.
And I saw a couple news articles about that. It's ridiculous. I was like looking up some reporter we're trying to hire today and punched in some number and it popped up porn on my phone. Everybody's had porn pop up on their phones hundreds of times. So I'm sitting there with
I honestly, I have to be totally honest. I've never once had porn pop up on my phone.
Okay, I'll tell you a funny story real quick about this because this is hilarious. I was working, I won't say where. This was back in the day, working someplace, and I was working with a bunch of older dudes, and it was a blue collar type of job. And there was this one guy, I had never worked with him before, but that day he I had to help him, be his helper. Yeah. And so I was helping him out. Things were going well. And he's like, "Yeah, I got a question for you. You're pretty young. You know anything about computers?" And I said, "Yeah, I know a lot about computers." And he's like, "So I accidentally clicked on some stuff and there's some things on my computer, that I wanted to delete like the history of my internet searches. Would you know how to do that? And I'm like, yeah. But he's like, I accidentally clicked on some things.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you didn't accident. It's like saying, hey, I know this guy. My friend John has a problem.
Yeah.
Basically, but that's what that sounded like. He's like, yeah, I clicked on a couple buttons and then porn popped up. I wasn't watching porn.
It continues.
Phone on air showing it to everybody because I couldn't get a URL up in the studio. And then like something pops up and like, oh my God. And I looked at it. It wasn't the news blurted out because there was nothing there. They blurred it to then say something was there. Then you went to it was some porn menu. I probably had porn menus pop up 500 times on my phone. So I appreciate your call. I mean, it's 500. There's two types of people that look at porn and people that lie about it. But I wasn't looking at porn on my phone. I don't take phones on air that I look at porn on. And so I saw all that. I didn't respond to it. I mean, if I respond to half the attacks on me, but then they say ridiculous. But I'll say this. The Amazon ads, the Viagra ads, the weird non-plastic bag ads are taking my iPhone over. iPhones didn't used to be that bad like Android.
Dude, that is not believable. Sorry. I love Alex Jones because he's hilarious. I mean, I don't love all his rhetoric, but this is pretty much why I love him, though. But yeah, I don't believe that.
Not one word of it.
Oh, maybe he was searching like
people that look at porn, people that lie about it.
Maybe he was looking like shopping for pontoon boats or something, and then he got to the PO, and
he was looking for pontoon boat transmission.
Yeah, there you go, and it was Pornhub transvestites. So yeah, that's funny. So like, he should probably quit drinking that water because it's turning him gay, obviously. So,
yeah, next thing you know, it's not even going to be trans. It's just going to be a man.
Well, I saw there was. I mean, that's pretty funny. I love that story. I mean, we saw the whole. You sent me the first story where someone zoomed in on his phone and they showed this porn, and then they investigated it, and then his response I just saw before we went to the show, which is so funny. I love this. I could do an Alex Jones story every week. I mean, I'm sure we could probably get one, but I did see, because we did a story last week about California cleaning up poop and whatnot, and having a cruise. Lavishly paid cruise to steam up poop. And I saw that they are under a little, basically not California's not under fire, but there's we don't have it here. It's an In-N-Out burger. It's in California. I think I was in Texas. I saw them there. I think they're more of a West Coast thing. But apparently they're really good. I've never had it.
Yeah.
I heard they're
amazing. I never have either. I want one. They sound like they're a good burger joint.
Yeah. I drove by one. We were on the way to the airport leaving, and I was like, oh, dude, there's an In-N-Out burger there. It's like, that's what we should get. My dad's like, no, let's get a real restaurant. I'm like, yeah, but we can't get that in Pennsylvania. There's no In-N-Out burgers. But apparently the CEO of In-N-Out Burger donated what was it, $25,000 or something to the Republican Party in California.
Fucking asshole.
That son of a bitch. So now In-N-Out Burger, people are protesting In-N-Out Burger in California. This is what I tell them to do. Leave California, come to Pennsylvania, because I want to try it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're under a little bit of fire. At least he is, or at least the restaurant is. Because you can't. I mean, that's like donating to the Nazi party.
Yeah, you can't vote differently than them.
Fuck no. Can't have other ideas.
Yeah. Who are you to think for yourself?
But I did see something else. And speaking of California, according to Wired sources, and I don't know what that is. It's like a news source, I guess. California lawmakers passed a bill to allow basically the courts to seize guns without due process. I'm not sure all the details on that, but that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, are they seizing them from law-abiding citizens, it sounds like?
That sounds like that needs to go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah. And you know where else they're seizing guns?
Would win?
You know where else they're seizing guns right now? South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah, they totally are.
Yeah. I should have sent you the audio of this. Now I'm just thinking of it because, we talked about South Africa last week. Trump tweeted out, essentially having an issue with what they're doing over there.
Right.
And a lot of the liberal media is saying that the people of South Africa, the people that this is happening to, are totally upset by Trump getting involved, and they don't have any problem with what's going on. Well, this girl, she called for other people to do it too. It was on Twitter, I saw. Basically, she's like probably a younger girl in her 20s, and she's like, this is all like really not true what they're saying about Trump, and the people here they actually are really glad that he's supporting them, because what's going on right now is all these people are getting their property taken off of them. And I mean, she said it was like they were killing them, slaughtering these people. So I don't know if that's true. I mean, I hate to say that without being true, but I mean, that girl lives there, and I don't know. That sounds kind of fucking crazy. And they apparently confiscated like 300,000 guns in South Africa. And whenever you look at all these old socialist governments, whenever they start confiscating the guns, that's whenever like the government starts crushing people. So that's a scary thing.
That's what always makes me laugh when people are like, "Oh, Trump's a fascist. Trump, blah blah blah." And it's the same people that are like, "Trump's a fascist," that are saying, "Let's give the government our guns. Let's make them out." Yeah.
Like, let's not protect people's speech.
Yeah.
Let's take their First and Second Amendments off of them. And the reason they call him a fascist is because they don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if they knew what it is, they'd say, oh, they'd look in the mirror and say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah.
I mean, because by definition, exactly what they want is what a fascist regime would do.
Another follow-up story for what we did I think it was last week, getting back into the First Amendment and whatnot, when we talked about the 3D printed guns.
Yeah.
And Cody Wilson, the guy that's really leading the charge on that.
He's the one with the book?
Yeah. No, he's not the one with the book. He's the one that came up with I think he actually has a design for a plastic gun.
Oh. Okay,
now I think about it, I do think it's a one-shot plastic gun that actually works for one shot. I don't know. Either way, he has a design for a gun that can be done on a 3D printer, I guess. And guess I should have read a little bit more on that one, but I do know the important part, which was he was shut down from distributing the plans that he was just giving away for free. They kept shutting it down. So he found a loophole in it to where now he sells it because it's legal for him to sell. I guess he just can't give it away. So now he's actually making money on it.
Wow. So like he actually is saying that he came up with a plan for a 3D printed gun, not a CNC machine parts for a gun or a machine making a gun out of metal. Yeah. And I would like to see, I'm going to have to look up on YouTube because I'm sure someone's made it by now. It's got to shoot this thing.
Right.
I want to see it shoot. I'm curious.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see how it would work.
I mean, then again, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of people just creating guns off a 3D printer. But whenever people talk about sneaking things through airport security, like I think that's usually what the big fear is with plastic guns going through metal detectors. Yeah. But I mean, is he making fucking plastic bullets? I mean, they're brass bullets, brass and lead. They're gonna set off a metal detector.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean that's. Here we go. Let's see this puppy in action. But I don't know. Everyone has the right to one, I guess, like one completely untraceable gun.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you file off a serial number on your gun, all guns have serial numbers. I'm pretty sure it's
I don't think you're allowed to do that because that's an actual registered gun. Let's see how this thing shoots. Well, if they're having music, that's not really going to work.
Can your HP do that? And by that, I mean print a 3D pistol called the Liberator, one that can be fired on what looks to be the set of a Quentin Tarantino movie. That's Cody Wilson, head of Defense Distributed, an organization whose sole purpose is to create a 3D gun printing and then share that.
Now we're just watching CAN. Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to see this fucker shoot.
Well, they played it, but they were playing music over it, so you couldn't even hear it. It was just a guy holding a gun.
Right.
So basically, just for the people listening to us, there is a guy standing there. He had a white plastic gun, and they were playing music over it, so I couldn't even tell if it's shot. But there's a lot of.
That looks like it has a metal barrel.
It looks like it, but do you notice that no one's holding it? They're fucking shooting it.
They don't want to touch that shit.
with a string and like around the trigger, so they don't want to blow up in their hand. But I mean, as far as people having untraceable guns or just printing out guns, I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it. I just think it makes gun ownership look bad. And I'm for the Second Amendment. I'm for people being allowed to own guns. I mean, there's a line, as there is with most things. Okay, you have a gun. You have to do paperwork that it's registered in your name when you buy a gun. You have to, if you get a concealed carry, you have to get approved to have a background check done. I have a card that has my picture on. It's like a driver's license, but for concealed carry. I mean, there's a lot of things that there's regulations for it. I don't want shit like this to come up, and then that gives them a reason to regulate the normal things people like me are doing with guns. You know what I mean? I just think it just makes it look bad. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not like a big fan of 3D printed guns. Because first off, every idiot on the planet, I would say most people don't have a clue what they're doing with a gun. And then, you know, some guy who's printing it off probably really doesn't have a clue what he's doing. And he's probably going to blow his fucking hand off. And then they'll probably outlaw all guns because some asshole who print off a gun is, you know.
Well, here's the thing with him blowing his hand off. That's just the market correcting itself. No, but here's the thing. What are you going to, like, when it comes down to this, like, there's no way to really stop it due to the fact that are you going to make it illegal for him to show the blueprints to the gun?
Well, you could do this, and I mean it's very simple. I mean, you could take a pipe. You could have a pipe that a shotgun shell fits perfectly in. I'm just saying, if you want to make a gun, and you could have, like, I've seen them before. It's like a little slider. You hold it, slide it, and it has a little punch on it, and it sets the shotgun shell off, and then you just made a gun. Yeah. But, okay, a 3D printed gun, let's think about cost effectiveness. So you have a 3D printer, computer, whatever, software, whatever this guy's selling it for, then the material for the 3D printer. So you're printing off a gun so you could shoot it, which is maybe not safe, possibly not safe, or you could just go and buy a gun. Yeah. Like, I mean, the only people who would be doing this are people who are doing it, like, either just because they're against the government, you know, controlling everything they do, or you're doing it for some nefarious reasons.
Basically, I don't know. I think it'd be more of people doing it just because they want to do it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Where can you draw the legal line?
I know. It's tough because
no matter what you do, you create a slippery slope. You can't if you say he can't publish the blueprints to this gun, then under that logic, what else can't be published?
Yeah, I know. And it's just like you said, the anarchist cookbook tells you how to make bombs.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it's doing things that, you know, are frowned upon. No one's trying to make law about that. I feel like this guy's doing it just so they I feel like this guy is doing it just so they'll regulate it.
He's an activist, really. He's an activist on free speech and gun rights is his main thing. Mainly, I think he's more on the free speech side.
Okay.
I mean, he considers himself a anarchist capitalist. Like, he doesn't believe in any government at all. So he wants to, he feels that him doing this creates, gives people the freedom to, no matter what, they'll never be without the opportunity to have a gun.
Okay.
Like, even if they start regulating against it, there's an option out there.
So you're like in South Africa and they start taking all your guns off. You can print your gun off.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also this puts tests the limits of the First Amendment as well, which is going to, once you break the First Amendment down, this is protected. It's protected speech.
Yeah. Now, Amazon doesn't have to allow it to be sold on there. I think Amazon, in my opinion, can pick and choose what it sells or allows on its website. But you can't arrest the guy for publishing it and selling, publishing a book about it.
Right.
That would be against that guy's First Amendment right. Now, if Amazon doesn't want to have it, Amazon doesn't want to have it. But they're not taking away his First Amendment. They are just saying that we don't want it on our platform. It's a lot like Facebook. It's a lot like YouTube taking these people down. They're not, we all feel like, oh yeah, they're taking away our First Amendment, but they're not. They're just taking you off their platform for, your First Amendment. You could still go out in the streets, or you could find some other place to publish your information. So it's basically their choice of what they're going to have on their platform and what they're not. So
that is true. The only issue you run in with that is Google is so intertwined with the government, and
I know.
You could say the same about Facebook, where they're getting subsidies, and they basically the government's letting all of the world's information funnel through their filter. So that becomes a dangerous situation where new regulations set up to where basically Google kicked the door closed behind them.
Yeah.
If you want to
They're
find
the boss.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to find out information on how to build something to compete with Google, you're going to have to use Google to get that information.
Yeah. And that's got to be a problem.
Yeah.
Because Google's not going to let you have it. And it's not going to be against your First Amendment. It's just going to be Google, a private company.
Exactly.
Who's working as a government branch.
So that's, so yeah, it's not technically an attack on the First Amendment. And I don't think there should be regulation. I'm not calling for that. But I do see some kind of dilemma.
Oh yeah. There's a dilemma going on now, not just with this gun thing, but just in general with free speech.
Yeah.
They have circumvented your right for free speech. Because where do we get all of our information? We get it from news media, we get it from Facebook, we get it from whatever internet source that has news on it. That's where you're getting it. So if you're, again, if you're speaking out about something that they don't agree with, instead of crushing your First Amendment speech, throwing you in jail, they're not doing that. They're just putting you someplace where no one can find you. They're putting you in someplace, or they're not publishing your information like every other thing is that they are pushing. So it's a dangerous thing, but what do you got to do? Because you can't say Google, the private company that's gotten so big.
Right.
You have to your algorithms have to equally, show who's out there, what they're saying. Well, they don't have to. They're a private company. They can set their algorithms whatever way they want. So
yeah,
they're not, the government's not taking away your freedom of speech, but where you get all your information and where you hear everyone's expressing their freedom of speech, that is what is taking it away. So that's going to be a problem because no one reads anything other than the internet for everything.
Right.
So
You know, they're doing the same thing with the Second Amendment too, something that got overlooked, especially after the Parkland thing, where like I think we're up to 3 of the top 5 banks in the country. Like I know Citibank is one, I believe. Well, I know Citibank is one at least.
yeah.
They will not loan money to companies that manufacture what they consider assault weapons.
Mm.
So, you know, again, private industry, but if you cut the money source off of these companies,
yeah,
it's going to regulate it's going to regulate itself that way.
Yeah, so just so people know, all companies, big companies who are making goods, they're doing anything. They need money. So they all have debt. They all have bank loans. All these huge corporations, I don't care what industry you're in, they all have they have bank debt. So that, if they're building guns or they're farmers, they're taking a loan at the beginning of the year, they're getting their goods, they're producing, they're farming or whatever they're doing. And then at the end of the year, they're paying the loan or however it works. They basically these companies aren't just cash full where they're just paying for everything out of their own pocket. They don't need banks. So whenever you take away basically the financial support that a company uses, they pay an interest rate. That's how banks make money. So they pay an interest rate on a loan. Once a bank takes that away from them and says they don't qualify for a loan from these companies because of you're a gun company or whatever, where's the lawsuit in the Supreme Court saying that you have to equally, loan out money if you're a bank? These people aren't doing anything that's illegal. So other than the fact that the product they make is not agreeable with you, what is stopping them from getting a loan? Is it, if they have a bad credit score, you could justify it. I mean, they could probably find a loophole, but if you're just doing it because they produce a product that you don't like, now we're getting into a world that is going to end up being another problem. Yeah. And it's not just guns. It's anything that they don't like.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing with Google and Facebook.
Exactly.
It's what they don't like, so they're not publishing that. And, when it comes to, they're building something you don't like, so you're not going to fund it. So now, basically, it is becoming what the Democrats and the socialists are saying it is. A bunch of corporations just doing everything. Well, they're doing all that they're doing all that in your interest, you dumb fucks.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. That's a slippery slope there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's see, that's where I would say I would support this guy, the 3D printer gun guy, because he's making a point. I don't like that. I just don't like 3D printed guns, the idea of them, because I think it's going to make it harder for anyone who is I just don't like more and more regulation. And I think this just opens up the door to start a discussion for more regulation. But I do see where he's coming from with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? From the standpoint of, well, let's see who's going to restrict me when I'm not breaking a law.
And here's the thing. Here's another nice thing is all this regulation talk is now diverted over to him.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing they could get him on.
No. But you know how they work. They'll meet you in court and you have lawyers. I mean, if you want to go down that road.
Which I think I've heard a couple interviews with him. I think he does. Because I think he's fairly confident that if he gets to the Supreme Court,
he wins.
Yeah, because it's a First Amendment issue.
Yeah.
Like cut and dry.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to do anything then.
Yeah.
They'll just remove him. Google will remove him. Amazon will remove him. And then
CIA will remove him.
Yeah, the only way he'll be able the only way he'll be able to get his message out is whenever he goes out on street corners on a soapbox and tells people about him. And then he's just a crazy guy because he's not on the internet.
Yeah.
Because the internet's where the normal people are. So, yeah, that's California, Amazon. I mean, there's a lot of wild things. It's like the overlord. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this overlord because we're so dependent on the internet and our cell phones and all that stuff. The overlord is going to tell you. Like, if I open my phone right now, I have an iPhone, and I look at the news, it's all like CNN. Every single story is CNN trash and Trump news story.
Yeah, because
Like
it goes through the Apple filter.
Yeah, exactly. So they're telling me, they're feeding me my news. They're feeding everyone their news, and it's based on what they want you to read.
Right.
But I did see that CNN's ratings dropped by double digits this past book, which is like, I mean, they're already bad.
So like 40 people stopped watching them?
Yeah, I mean, and they're down 50%.
Yeah.
I mean, somehow they still are like the most cited on all of these. You know, if you read your news on your phone or anywhere, it's like the most cited thing is CNN, but no one watches them.
No.
Which makes me feel good about the country because apparently people aren't buying into it, or at least some people aren't. But eventually they're going to win.
Right.
I mean, I'm saying, like, if you pummel people and you don't allow them to see any other information other than the information they want you to see, you know, we're going on a conspiracy theory here, but essentially they will eventually win.
Well, you know, I get a lot of HuffPo.
Oh yeah, that too.
Well, that is quality journalism. That's journalism at its finest over there at Huffington Post.
Yeah, and Vanity Fair.
Yeah, and Hollywood Reporter.
But I mean, when did Vanity Fair become like the go-to on political news?
Same thing with Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah.
And Variety? Like, that's bullshit. Like,
who owns all these places?
Speaking of staying in your lane, did you see the bullshit Max Kellerman talking about Tiger Woods?
I did, unfortunately.
Tiger Woods, he did the worst thing ever. He had an opinion.
Well, someone asked him. They said they were very specific with their question with Tiger. And, you know, he got done golfing. They usually ask him, you know, how his round went, where he did this and that. And they come out with, like, what do you say about Donald Trump or President Trump? I forget what the exact wording of it was, but I mean, do you have the audio of Tiger's response?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, let's hear what Tiger said about Tiger.
Respect the office, and no matter who's in the office, you may dislike personality or the politics, but we all must respect office.
Do you have anything more broadly to say about the state, I guess, the discourse of racial issues?
No, I just finished 72 holes and really hungry.
I don't blame him. So,
yeah, they asked him about the president being very decisive, like being looked at as like a racist guy, basically, with sports people. You know, and he's dividing the country, is what the guy said. You know, the president's dividing the country, and he asked him about it. So,
yeah, only he's dividing the country, not everybody else. Not Max Kellerman, who responded with this.
It really bothers me. I am angry at what Tiger Woods said because it is a thoughtless statement dressed up as a thoughtful statement, and it either holds in contempt the intelligence of the people who hear it, or else it's just a stupid thing to say.
Before we continue with Max and his brilliant commentary, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't when Donald Trump called LeBron James a black man stupid, that was racist?
Wait, what did President Trump say?
When President Trump called LeBron James stupid, or said he was, when he called him stupid,
or something. Yeah,
uneducated, low IQ, a dumb motherfucker. Wasn't that supposedly racist?
Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah, but this isn't, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I mean. If to say that the office, you must have respect for the office. Tiger, be clear. Are you saying that the office therefore confers respect onto its occupant, its present temporary occupant? No. Having respect for the office means, principally, in my view, is the office holder should have respect for the office.
Well,
we are all set to a standard. We're held to a standard of behavior. We at our jobs, right? People in their daily lives. Mm-hmm. The president, if anything, is held to a higher standard of behavior. It is not such that we have such great respect for the office that no matter what the behavior of its
worldwide leader of sports, ESPN
occupant, we must therefore respect its occupant because of the office. No, Tiger Woods you said being slick. Here he's being slick. We must respect the office, therefore that confers respect to the occupant. Tiger, is that what you're saying? If that's what you're saying, that is a...
Was it Stephen A. Smith that talked about like Tiger not really being black?
No.
So I'm skipping to... I didn't know if it was Stephen A. Smith or if it was Max Kellerman that said that. I'm going to skip it to Stephen.
Yeah.
The issue that the African American community has always had, because obviously from he was black, he was listed as black on the report.
But I don't even know if he believes that that's what he's saying.
First of all, we don't know what Tiger Woods believes. He's Camblinasian. He's not black. When he got arrested, he was black. He was listed as black on the report. So let's understand that Tiger Woods, that's the issue that the African-American community has always had, because obviously from an historical perspective, you know, if 1/3 of you has a darker hue, a darker pigmentation, you know, the bottom line is you are black, and it is that simple. And you get it, and he ain't even 1/3. I'm just throwing that out there. 1/8, exactly. So,
dude. Seriously, this dude has been a black icon for damn near my entire life.
That is like the most racist shit I've ever heard.
Isn't it?
Did you ever see Dave Chappelle when they have the race draft?
Yeah.
That's basically what's happened here. He just got booted out of the black party. He's the white race now. And
he got cut from the team. He literally just got cut from the team.
By a white guy.
You hear the one? He's only 1/8, isn't he? Instead of 1/3.
Yeah, but I mean, what does that have any bearing to it? Yeah.
Nothing.
Wow. They just are attacking his race. You know who they didn't dare attack this week? Was Jim Brown. Jim Brown said he supports the president. And I didn't see Max Kellerman acting tough with Jim Brown.
No. Max Kellerman just shut his mouth, as he always should.
Max Kellerman.
He is worthless.
He is a real scumbag. And I used to respect Max Kellerman. I mean, he's a real scumbag. I used to be fine with Max Kellerman. I used to watch ESPN a lot more though, and they weren't political. They talked about sports. He hosted a sports show, like a game show basically with sports reporters. Interesting show at the time. Then he's in
what's it, Around the Horn?
Yeah, Around the Horn or something. Then
that was a fun show.
Yeah, and now and he's still involved with HBO Boxing, which I used to really like HBO Boxing because I'm like a huge boxing fan. But HBO Boxing has jumped the shark or done whatever they want, and everything they have turned from covering boxing to being boxing and being the fight maker. And if you're a Showtime fighter, you're not a good fighter. You're not on their top list. It's so political over there, just in the boxing world. It's sickening. And that all happened. Long story short, there was a lot of fallout with Floyd Mayweather. He went to Showtime, which cost them billions of dollars. But Max Kellerman's there, and he is so sickening to listen to anymore, even on boxing. And him and Jim Lampley, I can't stand it. And now I have to hear this motherfucker talking about politics on the news. That's why I don't watch ESPN anymore. If I wanted to watch the news, I turn on CNN. But you can just, I mean, that's why I do not watch ESPN anymore. And a lot of people don't. No. Like, their ratings are garbage now too. And it's because of this. They can't look themselves in the mirror and say, what are we? Are we political or are we a sports show? Because that's just like the protests. You know, on Sundays, I don't want to see protests. I want to see football. If you don't want to play football, there's 75 guys on the team right now. They're going to get cut to 53 on Saturday. There's 20 guys who will take your job if you want to protest. I mean, that's the truth.
Or you know what? You only work for 16 weeks a season. You got another, like, what? Fucking 42?
Go do whatever you want.
Yeah, go do it.
Yeah. And these guys covering Tiger Woods saying because he respects the presidential office, no matter who's in there, whether you agree with their politics or not, and them saying that, them starting to call him out and saying he's not even black, so he doesn't represent black people.
Right.
I mean, that is like the most racist shit I've ever heard. And Max Kellerman is a joke. He's a fucking asshole.
He is.
I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of Tiger Woods. They got for my man Tiger.
You know, like, I've hated Tiger my entire life, but a lot like Trump, I think Max Kellerman kind of just pushed me into his corner.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fucking go win a couple majors. Make them talk about you not taking a political stand for the next like 5 years. That would be great. It makes me laugh.
You know, it's crazy. If he would have just flat out said, you know, I don't support the president, they would have loved him.
Oh yeah.
But because he was like middle of the road and he just said, yeah, I mean, you know, I, you know, respect whoever's in office, as most people should, or respect the office itself as a presidency. Yeah. He's not even a black guy anymore.
No, he literally lost his black card.
And that's coming from, you know, I'm pretty sure that Max Kellerman is white. And I'm pretty sure the woman in the middle was like, she's not like, I don't think she was even black, was she?
Yeah, I don't think she is. Let me see.
She's 1/8. She's 1/8.
She's just 1/8. Like, that is so ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, who cares if the guy's 1/8 or if he's none? You know what I mean? If he had done, his dad was a black guy. I mean, I'm not sure if you remember Tiger Woods' dad. And I mean, and Tiger Woods' mom was Korean or something. So, you know, for Max Kellerman to say he's not a black guy, I mean, give me a fucking break. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's like a Latina.
Well, she's 1/8.
She's 1/8. But I mean, where does that race come into it? I mean, where is it? Where are these three the judges of who is black, white, or other? You know, if Tiger Woods said, yeah, I'm X amount of black, I mean, he's X amount of black, he's X amount of Korean, he's X amount of white. I mean, race isn't his issue, it's theirs.
Right.
I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, that's absolutely absurd that that's on ESPN. No wonder the ratings are garbage.
I mean, it's mind-blowing how, like, he spent the first 45 seconds to a minute and a half talking about how, look, he's not even really black, guys. So just remember that. He's not really black. He's Cambodianese. Yeah. Whatever.
Well,
fuck that.
Well, the thing this is another group of people who need to look themselves in the face. If this is what they really believe, the president and Tiger Woods is, you know, he's driving a nail in or driving a wedge between white and black people. They need to look in the mirror because they're the ones who do it. They're doing it with the guy in Florida because they said don't monkey up an election. It has nothing to do with the guy he's running against and nothing to do with black people. And they make it a racist thing. They're doing it here. They're saying, oh, Tiger Woods, they ask him about the media asks a golfer, a professional golfer, if he feels like the president's policies are driving a wedge between black and white people or if the president's racist. You're asking a professional athlete this. And the guy gives you an answer you don't like. So he's the one who's the one with the problem.
Yep.
The people that are driving the biggest wedge in this country between black and white people are the media. That's the bottom line. And they like it that way because that gets them views. And Max Kellerman's superstar on the left right today.
Yep.
Absolute joke.
Exactly
I hate Max Kellerman. I've hated him before I heard that clip, but that is sickening. That's just sickening behavior. I'm sorry to rant like Max Kellerman does, but to say, oh, and then the girl say, he's only 1/8. I mean, fuck you. Who cares?
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
It is. It's like horribly offensive.
Yeah, and I don't see anyone getting fired. If it were the other way, if this was on Fox News and Tiger Woods went against the president and they said, what's he know about black people? He's only 1/8. He's not even black. I mean, they'd fire the whole show would be the whole network would be fired.
Exactly.
And I'm not trying to stick up for Fox News. I'm just saying, boy, there's a real double standard that you could really insult someone and basically be a racist towards them and be fine if you're coming from if they're not on the left with you.
Yeah.
You can't be a racist if you're on the left.
Well, look what they're doing to my homie Ye.
Yeah. Hey, man.
You know.
He's out preaching the word of Trump.
He sure is.
He is.
That dude, he loves him some Trump. He loves him some Trump almost as much as Trump loves him some Trump.
This dude's like best friends, basically.
They really are.
I mean, it's bizarre.
So what you watching this week?
Well, first off, tonight I watched a little bit of Steeler game. It's like third, fourth stringers.
Josh Dobbs lighting that shit up, huh?
Dobbs money line. Well, I think it sounds like they're peddling him around, trying to trade. He's like trade bait, and he looked good tonight, boy. If that's what teams are looking for, a solid backup, I think he's a solid backup. I don't know. Rudolph looked pretty good too.
Yeah.
From what I saw.
I hope Dobbs lines up on the IR tomorrow.
Well, I didn't watch the second half, so he might have gotten hurt. I don't know.
Well, that's it's something that happens in the NFL occasionally when you don't really want to get rid of a guy.
Oh, you're saying not actually hurt, just like on the IR.
Yeah, just on the IR, and
he's got to pretend like he pulled. Well, I was watching him warm up after halftime before we started the show. It was like in between during halftime, right before they were going to start the second half. Yeah. Like quarterbacks usually have a wide receiver stand next to them, and someone's throwing the ball to the wide receiver. They hand it to the quarterback. He throws it to the wide receiver. He hands it to the quarterback. It's like a little square. It's like pairs. So you don't hurt the quarterback's hands by throwing them at him. And whoever was throwing the ball at the dude was throwing rockets. And you could see he's like grimacing on his face. I'm thinking, dude, they're trying to hurt him just so he can like basically be put on the IR so they don't have to like take up a roster spot with it. But I mean, he looked pretty good. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, our defense looks like monsters whenever we're playing against fourth-string guys, and our fourth string is better than our guys who are going to make our team look better than their guys who aren't making the team. That's basically what it comes down to. Because now they don't even have cuts. Usually they cut down to like where there's only like 60 guys on the team going into the last weekend or something like that. Right. Now it's like everyone who went to camp is still on the team. They have to cut 25 guys on Saturday. I mean, normally it's like they have to cut a handful of their final guys. So
why don't they do multiple cuts anymore?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. So so I'm watching some football, college football. One of my favorite things kicked off tonight. I didn't watch any of it, but tonight first college football game for the year. But my team, West Virginia, those Mountaineers, are taking on Tennessee in Charlotte. It's a neutral site game, so like some kickoff classic game or something. But it should be fun. So I'm looking forward to football for sure. Lou Dobbs money line getting traded, probably getting us some draft picks next year, hopefully. But I had a fantasy football draft. You do a fantasy football yet this year?
Not yet.
Are you getting into one? Do you think?
Apparently it's going to be next Wednesday, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, we did our draft. We have it's all guys from our hometown, basically, we grew up with, but everyone's kind of all over the place. So we just did our draft, and the local guys, we all got together. So it's always fun getting together. Like I don't get to see them too often anymore. We're all old, and most of them are married with children. So it's kind of like, it's our one time of the year we can hang out for a little while as a fantasy draft. We're such nerds, but that's why I always like it. I like that more than the season, but it's fun throughout the year. It keeps me involved and like keeping track of what's happening.
Right.
But, that's why I like football. That's why the protests kind of are such a turnoff to me because, I take such joy in watching it and like admiring the skill of these people and then communicating with my friends about it and fantasy or whatever, just talking about sports. I like talking about sports. So it's like, man, it's frustrating whenever they make me not want to watch it because they're kneeling.
Yeah.
But so I got my team. It's terrible. I screwed up the beginning of the draft really bad. So it's basically like my season's over already.
Maybe you can make a trade or two.
Yeah, I also watched, there's something else. I love football, obviously, but I also love boxing. And Triple G is fighting Canelo. It's Triple G Canelo 2 is the 15th of September. So you got 2 weeks, and they started doing the 24/7 coverage, which is a lot like Hard Knocks, but for boxing, and it's just following the fighters. So they had the first Hard Knocks last night. So those guys used to really get along before the first one. Then Canelo, they got a draw, which was real shady in the first fight. And then Canelo failed a drug test and talked all this shit. And those guys flat out hate each other now.
Yeah, they're not fans of each other.
I hope it shows in the ring. Because like last time, they didn't say anything mean about each other because they used to be sparring partners and they had respect for each other. Now they have they literally both said, I have no respect for him. And, I hope that they take you out on each other in the ring. Hopefully, because last time Canelo kind of ran away from everybody. He's a counter puncher, very defensive. And he's on his, bike the whole time trying to get away. So I hope they engage a little bit more. I think that would play into Triple G's hands though. So a lot of hatred there. I'm excited for that hate.
I think it'll be a good fight. I found it funny, or I find it funny that Canelo says with a straight face about how he really thinks he won that first fight.
Oh man,
the only person on earth that thinks he won that first fight, aside from him,
honestly,
is Adeline Bird.
Yeah, because she got her pockets lined by Golden Boy.
She didn't even think that he won the fight, but it was like,
I'll briefly go into this because I will rant for hours about boxing. But if you go back and look, Canelo's had a couple other draws, and he's had a couple other fights that were people really didn't think that, he actually was the one who should have got the decision, and he did. If you look at all these big fights, even when he fought Floyd Mayweather and got completely dominated by Floyd Mayweather, it wasn't even a close fight. Every single fight, there is a judge drastically in Canelo's corner with points. And Floyd Mayweather just destroyed him. It was one of the most lopsided fights in the last 10 years of professional fighting. And there was still a judge that had Canelo winning. And there's a theory that in the boxing world that Golden Boy gets at least one ref paid off in Canelo's fights. He's their golden boy. He's the new Oscar De La Hoya. He is their golden boy. He's their huge moneymaker. He's the biggest draw in boxing. So he's like the golden goose. You gotta, as long as he stays on his feet, and that's kind of the strategy in that fight. He just ran throughout the entire fight. So it's you got to keep him on his feet, and you'll get at least a draw out of it. But if Triple G can get to him and put him down a couple times, that it's pretty hard to deny it. So
I never was a fan of De La Hoya. I know I cheered for him when he fought Mayweather because I can't stand Mayweather. But aside from that, I hate him. Always have.
I really hate him. I hated him back then too.
Yeah. And I didn't think he was dirty back in the day, but he obviously there's some shady shit there.
Yeah, just look at his leaked sex pictures. That's real.
Oh yeah.
He's dressed up in women's panties in multiple outfits that got leaked out. That guy's got some things going on with him too.
The funny thing is he's drinking
the same water. He's drinking the same water Alex Jones is.
Alex Jones is looking at his pictures.
Yeah. Well, he could deny that all he wants, but that's definitely him dressed up in those women's lingerie. Okay. Also, there was something that came out maybe 6-9 months ago where these Instagram girls apparently had a video of him doing bad things to himself, I think rectally, with kitchen utensils, and they had a video, and he paid them millions of dollars so they wouldn't release it to the public. So that guy's got some weird shit going on.
Yeah. Kitchen utensils?
Yeah, I was trying to think wonder what it was. What kitchen utensil do you think it would be that he's one of those wooden spoons?
Yeah, or a ladle.
He's pulling the fudge out with that wooden spoon. Ooh.
Just hear the ladle going.
It's probably one of those like egg beaters, like the electric ones.
Oh yeah.
But like, what if they can just have one thing? There's little plastic things, just like the whippers, I don't know terms.
Maybe a rolling pin.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, probably. He's got that prison butthole.
Yeah.
Just like the wind blows through it like it's blowing through the pines on the Rocky Mountains.
Bored the fuck out. shoving a NutriBullet up there. Girls want smoothies?
Leave it up with some Nutella.
Yeah, there you
It'll
go.
match. But what are you watching? I mean, obviously, I'm just watching sports stuff now.
Yeah, I watch 24/7 as well, and I think I watched all 4 episodes of Hard Knocks. So I'm caught up there.
Oh, cool. I mean, you have to admit, they're likable. The teams that are on there are likable.
Yeah.
No matter what Steeler fans, but like they're the Browns, but likable and they look good.
Yeah, they do. They do look good. I will say that they look like they could be a pretty competitive team, and they are likable. Although I'm starting to have some of the personalities are starting to wear on me, like the Carl Nesbitt.
Yeah,
the financial guy.
Yeah, he was real funny at the beginning.
Yeah, very obnoxious by episode 4. Yeah. And the hippie, what's his name? Cajuice.
See, I like that guy. But
like
those rocks
that's
weird.
Yeah. He's such a nice guy that like you can't hate him.
I know.
Because he just looks so friendly.
He is so friendly.
Yeah, he really is.
But I hope he makes their team, but I wouldn't want him on the Steelers because I want guys who are tough.
Yeah, and like not that friendly. I mean, like he would be great at like a meet the team day, meeting the everybody.
Or the guy who goes to the children's hospitals, hangs out with the kids. Dude, he was perfect for that.
Exactly. Not a guy that you want to take on a block though.
Yeah, I mean, whenever that, when Hayward's blitz or whoever is blitzing, and he has to be the extra guy to pick him up.
Yeah,
I just see him being a force, but I don't know if he'll make the team. Who knows?
Looks like it looks like him and Baker have something.
Yeah, I mean, it seem like they're doing well, and he seems like he's a draft pick this year, wasn't he? Wasn't he this rookie year?
I think he played last year because it sounds like he bounced around to 2 different teams before he got to Cleveland.
See, that's what I was gonna say. Like, if you're a draft pick, and I don't want to say if you're you look at the Steelers, if you're the top 3 or 4 4th round draft pick, you're on a team. They're gonna give you a year, and that's what most teams are like. So that's what I was gonna say. If he's a draft pick, most likely he's gonna make a team. But if he's bouncing around, I mean, he's got to have huge improvements from the year before to make a team.
Yeah,
so, but he seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah, you got to root for him.
Yeah, I like seeing Haley on there. I actually liked having Haley as a coach. I mean, some of his play calling has baffled me at times, but I think he seems like a fun guy on there, like a likable guy, like a mean dickhead coach.
Yeah, dude, he cracks me up.
That's what I mean. I like him on that show.
He's hilarious, and so is the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that guy is he's another one who gets real mean. He's a mean, like he's one of those coaches who yells. I like those guys.
He'll be dead at 57.
Yeah, I mean,
his heart's just going to explode.
Are you talking about the offensive line coach, the guy who drives the white Maserati?
Yeah. Somehow he'll outlive them all because he doesn't seem to give a fuck about anything.
No.
That dude, he drives around a Maserati. And he like goes through like animal pictures in his player meeting.
Yeah, he's like the grouchy old man when they're playing music. He's like, "Well, they turn that music down when you're in school learning. Did they blare music the whole time? No. How can you learn with music blaring? This is like school." It was just funny.
Which also brings up Myles Garrett. He is in the Cajuice category.
Yeah, he seems like a super nice guy.
Yeah, just super friendly.
Yeah.
So mild manner. He seems like shit, I can't think of it. He's like basically the dude in the Green Mile.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, like
Like-
super strong, way
Yeah.
more athletic than everyone else. Supernatural power.
But he
he's
sits
super
there and
nice.
plays with the mouse.
Yeah. But you know, he's a guy who obviously he can go on the field and be very he's like wrecks offenses, you know. So obviously he has a real competitive streak in him. So he might be a nice guy, but he's obviously a real he can be mean on the field. Obviously, he's But yeah, but did you see their little show, the rookie show?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. That was really funny. That was a clever way to do that because I always thought, man, if I was drafting the NFL, I'd hate that. I'd hate having to sing in front of the team or do something stupid where they humiliate you. But that is a funny way to do it.
Yeah,
because you're humiliating all of them basically.
Yeah, just roasted them,
and they let you get away with it somehow. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically what I've been watching. Just sports, just getting ready for the football season. That's it.
Yeah, I hear you there.
You're out down there with the Dolphins, watching the game, living large like a player on South Beach.
Right. There was a game that day. I just watched cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Dude, I looked at my pictures the next day. Really, I don't remember much from the game.
Yeah, you were texting me a little
Cheerleaders or not. Yeah, but I looked at my text. I was texting you in the group text, and I sent a lot of pictures.
Yeah,
like
you
a
did.
lot of pictures. Not once did they divert from the section of cheerleaders.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't, based off your pictures, I couldn't tell you who they played against. I couldn't even, if they weren't wearing Miami Dolphins cheerleader uniforms, I wouldn't even know you were in Miami. You could have been anywhere.
Right.
You could have just been at a cheerleading competition.
And there was like seriously 10 pictures. It was, I had a moment of embarrassment when I looked at my phone the next day.
You're like a creepy guy.
Yeah, I looked at all the pictures again.
Yeah.
But it was embarrassing.
While you were flying on that United flight.
Yeah. That's how you tie it all together.
That is how you tie it all together. So.
All right. Well, hey, download Kelly Digital on iTunes and Stitcher, Spotify. Go to kellydigitalpodcast.com and let's get out of here.
Yeah, watch us on YouTube.
Yeah. All right.